Welcome back, friend, to A Garden and a Bible Farm. So today I'm taking you along on my winter sowing project. And this project uses something that's so simple. I'm pretty sure we all have it in our home. It's either a milk jug or a water jug or a juice jug. Just make sure you clean it out very well. If it's anything other than water, clean it out very well and prepare the jug. You can see here that I've prepared all of the jugs already except one. Then I'm going to show you exactly the procedure that I use in order to prepare it. So you want to make sure that you puncture holes at the bottom of the jug. This helps with water removal, because when you're watering this jug, or if Mother Nature is doing the watering for you, then you want the water that's going to be in excess to come out of the jug. Once you're done with that, then you're going to cut around the actual jug using a very sharp knife. This is a wonderful project to do with kids. However, I will strongly advise that an adult is present in doing this part of the procedure, because it is very sharp. It makes the jug to be very sharp, and you don't want those little fingers to get cut. So cut around the perimeter of the jug, making sure that you cut directly beneath the handle. And what this will do is that it will create this flap, as you can see at the top of the jug. So you have the bottom portion and you have the top portion, and together they are going to create a greenhouse once this process is complete. Place your potting soil into the jug. This time I did use potting soil, and the reason I use it over seed starting mix is because potting soil has some nutrients in it. The goal of this project is that once it's sealed, it's not going to be open until the springtime. So I don't want to have any reason to have to open it up. So potting soil provides that little bit of nutrients that it can definitely thrive on until the springtime. Once you're done with putting the soil in, you want to start sowing the seeds. Place the seeds liberally on top of the soil. Do not be stingy with this project. The purpose of this project is not only to grow the plants over the winter time, but also to see how your plants are actually going to do. I'm really excited to see how my plants are going to do, because if you know anything, planting seeds, sowing seeds is very labor intensive. And so the goal is to plant this very liberally so that in the spring, I'm able to separate the flowers out and pot them up or put them directly into my landscape. And I'm doing the same thing with things like kale and spinach and Swiss chard. I'm also going to overseed them so that I can take those individual plants and then put them into my garden beds as well as into the landscape when the spring comes. And so continue to sow the seeds until you are completely done with the jugs that you've prepared. Sometimes when you open up the packet of seeds, you can see that there are going to be a lot of seeds at the mouth of the packet. So make sure you're very careful so that you don't lose those seeds. These seeds sometimes are very extremely tiny, and so you want to be very careful when you are planting them and when you're sowing them into the jug. I decided to start my kale and collards and Swiss chard and spinach outside because they are cold tolerant. And if you don't sow them on time, what happens is that in the spring, if the spring quickly changes over to summertime, they're going to bolt. And so what I'm doing by using this method, this winter sowing method, is allowing myself to have a longer growing season with those types of foods. After you've planted all of it, I've topped mine off with vermiculite. Vermiculite is not necessarily required to put on top of this. You could have just been done once you've sown the seeds and you've scratched them into the soil. But I've sown the vermiculite so that it could help with water retention. I don't know if it necessarily actually works, but I do know that it works for plants that I've grown in my home. I'm not sure if it's going to work for the outdoor plants, but it's worth a try. So I've put vermiculite on top of all of the water jugs, and now I'm watering in the plant. Do not put too much water into it because the soil is already moistened, so you don't want to put too much water into it. And furthermore, once you seal this, you can see that the tops are off. Make sure to take the lids off. You don't want to suffocate the plants. That will actually defeat the purpose of this whole experiment. So make sure that the tops are off. What this does is for you to be able to allow airflow into the jugs, also for you to be able to water the jugs if necessary. And then also if it's outside, which mine are going to stay outside during this whole season, Mother Nature is going to take place and she's going to do her work. And when you allow her to do her work, she does the work for you. So I may not have to actually water. In fact, I don't plan on putting too much effort into this project. That's the reason why it's a project, and I'm excited to see how this progresses. So if you're interested in how this is going to progress, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you can see how we progress forward with these plants. And so you can see the types of plants that I've grown, things like Columbine and Foxgloves and spinach, kale, collard greens, those type of things. Thank you so much for watching, my dear friend. Until next time, may the earth yield its increase in your life and in your garden. Bye.